create a life you love. Hot Better Pop Radio with your hosts, Kimi Morton and Pua Pakelean Cabot, bringing you tips, tools, inspiration, and motivation to take your life to the next level.
I'm just going to record all of this. Okay.
I'm grabbing my mouth, sorry.
It's okay. Welcome to Hot Better Pop Radio with Kimi
And Pua.
Yay!
Episode number 1.
Woohoo! So we are recording from Happiness U in Honolulu, Hawaii. And if you're interested in finding out more about Happiness U, you can go to yourhappinessu.com. That's you, like the letter U, yourhappinessu.com, to check out all of their amazing classes and cool events that they have going on here. It's a cool spot.
Aren't you a teacher here?
I am a teacher here, yes. I teach 2 classes. I teach one about inspired health and fitness and nutrition, and then I teach another one about time management and productivity. And all the classes here are based on physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. So not just approaching, your health from the physical perspective, work out, eat better, whatever, but it's also about, where are you mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So that's sort of the consistent theme throughout all the classes here. And they do all types. I know they've had dog masseuses come through here. It's classes about your finances, classes about how to get to inbox zero, and you just can't compartmentalize your wellness, right, or your happiness. It's really finding balance between all of those areas of your life. So that's what Happiness U is all about. I can't think of a better place to be recording from. It's so perfect. It's like I feel like I'm in a living room.
It feels so good in here.
Yes.
Everything just feels really, really balanced, and it just makes you feel very comforted and relaxed.
Well, the founder of Happiness U is Alice Inoue, and she is a feng shui expert as well. So that's why it just has good feeling, good energy in here. And there's a lot of candy everywhere. Have you noticed that?
Yes. I tried to get a jelly bean earlier, and I got 500 jelly beans.
The censored jelly bean dispenser. That's abundance, right?
Right.
Okay, so what are we talking about today?
We are talking about how to be a morning person today. And I think that's an insanely appropriate topic for our very first podcast. Mm-hmm. It's something that people more or less accuse us of.
Right.
Almost daily. And it's kind of how we met each other.
It is at early morning boot camp classes at Egan's Fit Body Boot Camp, where we're both trainers. And we're the ones that teach the early morning, the 5 a.m. Classes. So I get up at 3:33. I set my alarm for 3:33 pretty much anytime I teach, so that I can have a good hour before I really have to get to the gym, because it's really important to me. I love mornings. I think it's so important. How you start your day is really sort of how your whole day is going to go. So I don't like that feeling of just rushing, getting out of bed, jamming over to the gym. So people accuse me of being a morning person all the time. I think you too, like, especially because we go in there and we're in front of a class, we're like full of, energy and smiles, and people are like, they're tired and just gotten up, and I hear that all the time, like, oh, how are you such a morning person? So fun that we get to talk about that today. And I think that the things we're going to talk about are sort of kind of just what we were talking about with Happiness U. It's not just about your physical energy, it's about your mental, emotional, and spiritual energy as well. So we got some tips for everybody. How to become a morning person and pop out of bed.
I'm a firm believer that being a morning person starts with being a good night before person.
Totally.
So we have a couple of things that we just want to chat about, how we are morning people and what we kind of go through daily to get there. And I just love starting the night before. It just sets you up for a great night, sets you up for a great morning. And one of the first things that I love to do before I go to sleep and before I start to wind down is to just take a look at what I have going on the next day. And everyone has a calendar system of their own. I use and abuse my Google Calendar. I have it synced up to everything in existence, my iPhone, my iPad, my work email, my personal email. it might be too much sometimes. I get alerts and all of that all day long, but I look at it the night before, and I just look at the next day. I look to see what meetings I have, what my day is going to look like, where my free time is, what time my day starts as far as work is concerned, or working out, whatever that might be. And then I like to work backwards from there and see how my morning can be more, how it can work for me with the day that is ahead.
Oh, that's smart.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I have a similar thing that I do at night, and I call it I think about it like brain dumping at the end of the day. And I think for a lot of people, I talk to a lot of people that have a lot of trouble sleeping, just tossing and turning at night, and that happens to me on occasion as well. And a lot of that has to do with just too much stuff in our brains. We have a million things that we're trying to do at all times. And so I think just taking that time, it's kind of like when you shower before you go to bed, it's the same idea. Just get all that stuff out of your head and onto paper. So write down, what are all the things that you want to accomplish the next day? Maybe what are the things that are, if you're a journaler, you can write down, what things are bothering you right now. Anything that you can do to just kind of clear away. It's like resetting your computer at the end of the day, clearing all that cache so that you can get not just a good quality sleep, but then also the next day you're super clear about, okay, I'm getting up early because I want to accomplish these 3, big rocks tomorrow. These are the things, because the other thing is, part of getting up in the morning is you got to know why you're getting up in the morning. And if you don't think about that beforehand, then it's always in that moment of tired, cozy bed in the morning that it's going to be like, oh, wait, I don't know. Why was I doing this again? And if we don't have that reason, it can be really hard to pull ourselves out of bed. So pre-bed brain dumping, and also just as you said, just kind of organization, making sure that you get your desk cleared off, exactly what's going on in it. You sort of create this nice, clean environment for yourself where you can get up and get at it, whatever it is that you want to be doing.
Something that I love that you mentioned was journaling. And something that I actually want to get back into is gratitude journaling at night.
Oh, yeah.
And you actually gifted me a gratitude journal, and I love ending my day with that. And the one that you gave me breaks things down into what did I accomplish today? What am I grateful for? What could I have done today to make it better? Things like that. And it's just an amazing way to bring closure to every day.
Yeah.
And we don't really think about that. We are so busy with the day-to-day things these days that we just kind of go through our day, brush our teeth, get ready for bed, watch some Netflix, instead of really reflecting on the things good and bad that went, or, things that happened for you, things that, you can learn from, and just putting it on paper and having something there to really think about.
I've been using an app called Grid Diary, and this is a cool app. I used to use 5-Minute Journal, but now I use Grid Diary because Grid Diary, you can customize the questions that you ask at the end of the day. So you can customize questions at the beginning of the day and then customize some at the end. So I'll ask myself things like, what was one amazing thing that happened today? Or, what can I do to make tomorrow better? What were the fears that came up for me, blocks that came up, whatever it is. I change them as I change my goals and what I'm working on. So there's something easy about it. It's on my phone. And so although we'll talk about blue light soon, right? Because that's the downside of doing anything on your phone at night. But
totally. You guys will learn Kimi's our app girl. There's an app for everything.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So one of the other things that I like to do at night is to dispel my ICD.
ICD? What is that?
What is it called? Diagnosed. I self-diagnosed myself with indecisive clothing disorder.
Oh, no. Oh, God, I think I have that,
too. Who doesn't? I mean, I can spend up to 20 minutes taking on and taking off outfits in the morning.
Isn't that the worst? And then you have all that pile of clothes to deal with later.
Yes,
I hate
it's
that.
so weird.
I hate it.
Clothes that I put together the week before just don't work that day. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But if I can find the time and if I can make the time for myself, I go through that at night instead.
Oh, yeah, that's smart.
Just takes some time. It gives you back time for yourself in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like that, don't change yourself. Be like that and accept it and, embrace it, but do it the night before. And then you can just have all of your clothes out and ready to go.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, I like that. In fact, I'm always thinking about ways that I can help that my future self versus, so what can I do ahead of time to make the morning go easier? And so a lot of times, one thing that I did that was really cool is I actually took some time one week to write down everything that I do, like all my morning routines, broke it all down, sort of like just figured out like, okay, what do I make in my coffee? How do I spend my time? Every single little thing that I do that takes time in the morning. And then I looked at that and I tried to figure out how many of those things I could do the night before. And it's amazing how those little 30-second things can add up and free up the morning and just make the morning so much smoother and more enjoyable. So, for example, I start my day with bulletproof coffee most days, and it's kind of a cumbersome, elaborate routine, right? And it can be pleasurable as a routine if you have a lot of time. It's kind of like ritualistic or something. But there's things that you can do to make it a lot easier. So, for example, I'll fill up my tea kettle, my electric tea kettle with water, so it's already filled up. I'll make sure the coffee's already ground up. I pre-measure things if I can. I've even gone so far as to put things in my blender ahead of time and put the whole Vitamix in the refrigerator. So it seems crazy sometimes to do all those little things the night before, but it makes it just, you'll be thanking your past self. Be like, oh girl, thanks for hooking me up last night, and just, treat yourself like you would somebody that you really care about. Sometimes I'll do that for my boyfriend, right? I'll say, I'll think, how can I make his life easier today? Or I'll do that for the kids. What can I do to make sure they don't have to worry about it the next day? So why don't we do those kinds of things for ourselves, right? So look for ways that you can take care of your poor, sleepy morning version of you.
You kind of treat yourself as your own house guest.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I love that. That's very cool.
So what else?
Something that I used to do that I'm sure, especially those of you who might work out early in the morning, like to do. It took me a while to become the person that wakes up a little bit before the time that I have to be up. I used to crawl out of bed. I know I have to be at the gym at 5:30, so I brush my teeth and I run out the door because I slept in my workout clothes. And that was my life hack for the morning, is to sleep in the clothes that I needed to be in. It did, but I've been listening to a lot of research and I've been reading about the dangers of sleeping in constrictive clothing. And I love tight workout pants and tight sports bras. So it's actually really not good for your body.
Really?
There's research that's showing that it might even lead to forms of breast cancer.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, if you think about it, your body's meant to breathe, especially at night when you're recovering and your muscles are kind of...
I guess I remember reading something about guys not supposed to wear tight stuff. That's you hear that in health class, right? Stuff is supposed to that makes sense.
Breathe.
Yeah, it's supposed to breathe. I can't handle constrictive clothes when I'm sleeping, so I could see that. It feels a little unnatural. But it's a hack that worked for you for a little while. Right. You don't do it anymore?
I don't. Yeah, I'm trying new things.
What about leaving your clothes out? Just leaving them out, having them there, ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Just leave your workout clothes right there, right when you get up. If you want to put them on before you even go to the bathroom, slip right in them. Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
But
yeah, picking out my clothes the night before, that definitely helps me.
For sure.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, we kind of mentioned it a little before, about sleep, right? And how important sleep is. And how technology, looking at your phone, being exposed to blue light can actually interfere with your sleep. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I do. Because I worked from home for the past, 5 years, both of the last jobs I had were work from home jobs. So I was very guilty of opening my laptop, sitting up in bed and just doing a little bit of extra work, checking emails, what have you, right before I go to sleep. And there's a lot of research out there right now about how blue light from electronics not only just keeps you awake because it's kind of imitating the sun more or less. Your
Right.
brain is recognizing the light as sunlight.
Suppressing your melatonin
Yes.
production.
Mm-hmm. And it's giving you a lower quality of sleep when you do end up going to sleep. And so, I mean, some of that stuff we can't help. Sometimes, sometimes we have to do something on the computer late at night, or, sometimes you like to watch Netflix before you go to sleep. And it's not necessarily things that you have to give up completely, but there are little things that you can adopt to give yourself a little bit better quality sleep and let yourself fall asleep easier. And one of the things that I love is I installed what's an app called Flux.
Oh yeah, I have that on my
laptop.
computer too. I love that.
It's really cool. It knows where you are, it knows where you live, so it knows when the sun sets and the sun rises, and you can set it for different shades, but it actually dims your computer screen as the sun goes down, so it lets your eyes adjust to the evening. It's not foolproof. It doesn't eliminate blue light, but it definitely helps to relax you, to just let your brain know that,
My kids thought they
here.
broke my computer because they went on it one night, and it makes the screen all orange.
Yeah.
They're like, something's wrong with your computer. We didn't do it.
It's weird. If you guys try it, I actually really hated it the first day that I used it, but you get used to it very quickly, and it's really, really cool.
The other thing that I use is, and talk about like crazy biohacks, but I'm a firm believer in blue light blocking glasses as like a secondary measure. And, they're just like those gamer glasses that you always see people wearing, and they're amber tinted or yellow tinted. And they basically do the same thing, except they're on your face. So if you want to watch television or look at your phone, I keep them right next to my bedside. And my daughter actually uses them now too, and our whole family is kind of hooked on them. And it's a little bit dorky, but if everyone's into it, then you're just like a big dorky family, so that's fine.
You guys are hipsters.
Yeah, super. There's cool ones too. There's also really cheap ones. Like you can get ones for like $5 on Amazon, or you can get the like fancy deluxe gamer style ones. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I have some other sleep hacks too that I use all the time. When I'm a like crazy about my sleep. I have never really been able to function well. I always admire people that like, I only got 3 hours of sleep, and they just seem so sharp and on it, and I'm just not that person. I like get depressed and grouchy and like sad. Like if I'm tired, I feel like my world is coming crashing down on me. So I really value sleep, and I really work really hard to make sure that I'm getting good quality sleep, because I see it in my brain function really first, and I just hate that feeling. I just have such a low tolerance for feeling crappy, I think. So one of the best books I've read on sleep is Sleep Smarter by Sean Stevenson, and he just pretty much nails it. I mean, all these things that we're talking about, he really talks about the science behind it, and I think you can get it on the Kindle version for like under $3 or something. It's really worth the investment. And so he mentioned some of these things, but my top sleep hacks that I use that I swear by are, like I said, the blue light blocking glasses, but also I use a sleep induction mat, and it's called a spunk. Have you ever heard of one?
No.
It's really cool. It's like an acupressure mat, and it's like laying on a bed of needles. It's this small little mat. I think Dave Asprey has one too. It's called like a sleep induction biomat or something like that. And basically laying on all these little tiny plastic spokes is supposed to induce sleep within 15 minutes, and also help you to reduce back pain and other physical pain. You can also use it towards like the afternoon if you just sort of need a quick little pick me up. It can help with that as well. But I don't know, there's something about this thing. Some people lay on it and they're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. But it hurts at first, and then it kind of feels good. It's sort of, but I love acupuncture. Like I don't have problems with needles or anything. So I think it feels really good, and it definitely helps me to fall asleep. It's weird. I don't understand how it works, but I don't care.
Huh,
And
where did
even
you get that?
I got mine on Amazon. They sell them at a lot of the health food stores too. And usually the spunk is the only one that I have really tried. The knockoff ones, sometimes the little spoke things will break off. So I've had no problems with mine.
Wow, that's intense.
It's pretty cool. And sometimes I've fallen asleep with it, and I'm like, they even say you could put it on your face to like make you have less wrinkles or something, but I don't know. To me, it's like, that's so awkward. I guarantee you I'd fall asleep with it on my face and then have to go somewhere and have these little spots all over my face. And then the other thing for me is they found you sleep best when your room is 67 degrees. And that never happens in Hawaii, pretty much, like, at least not in my house. And so my sleep life completely changed. My sleep life, that sounds really weird, but it completely changed when I got a standing AC. And I think the combination of the white noise and then also the coolness, I sleep like a baby now. That was one of the best investments it was like $400 or something for that standing AC, but changed my life. And the kids sleep so much better too. Because they're still in my bed, but we just all knock out. It's amazing. So the other thing that I'll use is a little bit of lavender spray right before bed, and I think that the more that you do that, the more your brain starts to associate, like, okay, this is sleepy time, spray time to kind of start winding it down. So we're just like big dogs, where we start to make these little neural pathways, right? Like, I smell lavender, I get sleepy. And so that really helps me too. And then my last sleep hack is magnesium. And for so long, I have supplemented at the end of the day with, for a while I was using Calm Magnesium. It's like a powder. Most of us are magnesium deficient. And magnesium basically helps your muscles to relax, and it really helps my sleep quality. I'm using now I use nutrients from Calton, which is this really cool AM/PM vitamin mineral blend. Really amazing product. And I'm just kind of trying it out for the first time, and they put magnesium in the PM blend. So it's the same exact effect. I love that it's all in one pack now, and I don't have to buy like the $30 Calm Magnesium from Amazon now, because that one's kind of a big investment. So those are my sleep hacks. That was kind of a lot. Sorry, that was crazy. I'm tired.
No, that was awesome.
Are you tired? Was that a sleep hack? Are you asleep now?
I'm sleepy.
See, that worked.
Totally did.
Just listen to me talk for like 5 minutes. You'll fall asleep.
I'm just imagining the lavender. I can kind of smell it in my brain. Let's talk about the morning.
Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about in the whole.
We can wake ourselves up now.
Okay, morning.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of this.
Right.
Okay.
We're there.
We should have done a sleep episode.
Right.
Okay.
We got 2 in 1. This is bangs for your free bucks.
Wow, bangs. All right. So how do we enjoy a glorious early morning?
We enjoy a glorious early morning by getting ourselves out of bed.
Oh,
that's
all right.
where it starts.
And thank you for listening to Hot Better Pop Radio. Good night.
Get out of bed, people. It's so true though, and there's an image that, like, I saw it once. I don't know if it was on Facebook or Pinterest or something, and it's super funny, and I think you've all seen it. And it's a meme, and the first picture says, "My bed when I'm trying to go to sleep," and it's like a prison bed, and it's made out of concrete. It might have your spunk on it. Looks like there's spikes on it. And then the second image is like this beautiful hotel bed with these cloud-like pillows and this big comfy comforter, and it says, "My bed when I'm trying to wake up."
I've never seen that. It's so funny.
Can you relate? Like,
yes.
Isn't it so true? Like, we have a hard time falling asleep. It takes us 5 hours to get to sleep, and then half an hour later our alarm rings and you just want to throw it across the room, right?
Right.
So I love to find ways to get me out of bed even if I don't want to get out of bed. There's a million ways to do this, and probably one of the oldest tricks in the book is putting our alarm clock across the room.
I love that. I recommend that to people all the time.
Totally.
Environmental
and it works.
hack.
Yeah, definitely. Like, if you yourself do not care about letting your alarm go off for hours, hopefully you have neighbors or people who live in your house who you feel badly about, disrupting their morning by letting your alarm clock go off.
Right. Just that feeling like getting up and having, it's like you're up already, right?
Right.
Yeah. I know, I talk to people all the time, they get so mad at themselves for, snoozing. And there's just such a simple environmental hack that's like the same thing you were saying earlier, right? Like work with who you are. Like if you're somebody that snoozes the alarm, just know that about yourself. Just move it. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to judge yourself so harshly. It's funny, right? It can be a little bit lighter the way that we approach it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Have you heard about Clocky?
I haven't.
So
Who's Clocky?
Clocky. Clocky's my friend. Now, Clocky, it's the same idea, except it's a real alarm clock, but on wheels. So it'll jump off of your bedstand and like roll around the room until you catch it. Oh my God, it sounds like I'm making it up.
Are you?
Yeah, no, I'm not. Look it up. Yeah, I think you can get them on Amazon. Yeah.
Oh,
It's so
Clocky.
cool. It's like a little robot.
Oh my gosh.
I wonder how many have been like hit though.
I know. I feel like my dog would attack that.
Poor Clocky. Yeah. I haven't tried it, but I think it'd be a cool thing.
That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So another thing that I love to make time for in the morning is myself. Love yourself, make time for yourself.
Yes.
And I think it's so important, no matter what time you have to be up, no matter what time you have to be at work or wherever you're going to start your day, just making that time for you so that you're not rushing around, so that you can just kind of meditate over if it's your, cup of bulletproof coffee or your tea, or just going outside and just taking a couple of deep breaths and just being grateful for being alive and being there and having the morning to wake up to. I just find that meditative state is really important to start your day and to collect your thoughts. It doesn't even have to take very long. I spend 5 minutes, and I would just really like to sit outside with my dog as she wakes up, and before I feed her, just enjoy that short amount of time that you have.
Such a great way to slow life down at a time when life seems so fast these days. It's really just taking that time to breathe and enjoy life, and it just sets the tone for your whole day. If you start your day in a frenetic, crazy, energetic space, I just feel like, it's like that, you always see somebody like, they get out of bed, they stub their toe, they're swearing, or, it's like, and then their whole day is like that, right? If you start the day meditating with your coffee in hand and playing with your dog and breathing, it's like, yeah, your day is going to be a lot different than a poor person that stubbed their toe.
Totally.
One of my, I'm the same way. I feel like that really is what the morning is all about. And I'm a really big fan of Hal Elrod's The Miracle Morning. Have you read that? Or so it's a book. It's also an audio book. He has a great podcast too. And he came up with this thing that's called The Miracle Morning. And basically he looked at all this research about high achievers and how they live their lives, and he pulled out all these things that all basically successful entrepreneurs, high achievers do, and he saw patterns, right? So, and most of them, by the way, were morning people. And I don't think that, this podcast is not supposed to, we're not saying like you have to be a morning person or anything. There's a lot of really amazing, successful, creative, driven people that are love to be up at night and sleep in. That's just the way that their schedule works. But that being said, there is a lot of evidence that says that, and definitely most of the people that that inspire me, they're morning people, and you hear about them really taking advantage of that morning time. And I think it's because also, like, the world, it's a precious time because the world hasn't really gotten going yet. And even though our days are starting earlier and earlier, I mean, it's crazy to me that people have to be in at work at 7 now. Like, that's just ridiculous. But the pressures are less in the morning. The expectations of people tend to be less than in the middle of the day. And so when else are you going to get that quality time where you can do that self-reflection and really checking in with yourself, slowing things down, setting the pace of your day, taking care of you. It's hard to find it, just like with working out. Most people, you get your workout in early, then chances are more likely you're going to get it done. It's the same thing with me time. If you get it done early, you're way more likely to get it done. So anyway, Hal Elrod kind of looked at everything that these high achievers were doing, and he created what he calls the 6 lifesavers. So his morning consists of savers. It's like an acronym for silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing, or writing. I guess, he needed an S, right? They don't say scribing all the time, but that's okay. And so basically what he says is like, if you create, and it doesn't have to, his is like an hour, I think, that he spends, but he also has like a 5-minute version that you can do. So it's not about the time, it's about the intent, right? And if you take this time for, especially if it's devoted to that self-care, that like, nurturing yourself, doing what you can to elevate yourself to the next level, leveling up in life, right? As you always say. If you do that and you have that to look forward to, it can almost feel like Christmas morning. And it's so true. When I get into, and I'm not saying I do this every day, but when I have a plan to do that and I know that I have my me time scheduled, it does, because it's like the ultimate gift, right? This gift of time for yourself. So check it out. He's a cool guy with a great podcast, great book, definitely worth the time. So
that's awesome. I love that. I love that whole, just leveling up and taking good care of yourself. I mean, you're the one that's going to go through the whole day, and it's your morning. Definitely.
Yeah, and I think that, when it doesn't feel like Christmas morning, if we're like, yeah, but it's not Christmas morning, it's just every other day, it's just regular life. It's like, whoa, that's your like wake up call. That's where you got to be all, okay, hold on. If you're just saying like, oh, it's not, this is just a regular old junky day that I got to get onto, well, that's a sign that we need to like look at our lives, right? So, that's sort of my other thing when it comes to being a morning person. I think that that's the problem that most of us have with mornings. Like, yeah, some people, it's about energy levels, or it's about, lack of clarity. Most of the time, though, it's because on some level, we have a hard time getting up out of bed because we don't believe that something awesome is going to happen that day. And, we don't think that there's going to be presents or a trip or any of the other things that on those days we get up for with no problem, right? We just think, oh, it's just boring old regular life. And that mindset is the issue, right? Because if we're not inspired by our day and we're not going to see the possibility of some magic or joy awaiting us when we get up, then what's the point? I would want to stay in bed too, right? So we really need to use it as an opportunity and a blessing. If you're having trouble getting out of bed, say, yay, oh my gosh, what an amazing blessing and opportunity to examine your life and ask yourself the powerful questions, the provocative questions that you need to, like, do you like your life? Do you like the people you're going to be spending your day with? Do you like your job? Are your relationships fulfilling and nurturing and empowering? Are you filling your days with, busy work instead of your life's work? Are you passionate about what you do? Are you just, you have to dig really deep to make sure that you're not, sometimes sleeping in can be numbing yourself to some kind of pain that you're experiencing out there, right? Or something painful that's going on in your life, or something painful that you're not listening to, like your heart or your spirit that's talking to you about what it is that you actually want to be doing. So yeah, it's like you gotta actually be asking yourself the really hard question, what are you getting up for? Why do you want to be a morning person, right?
Yeah, that's super heavy, but it's really true. It's giving yourself the purpose. Like, what is your purpose? Why do you get out of bed? What are you bringing to the world that you're excited about, that you're passionate about? And I think you're right. A lot of times, sometimes we're very we're not super passionate about what we do. You know, our jobs are our source of income, and it's something that we do to provide for our families or for ourselves, for our loved ones, but it's not necessarily something that you feel inspired by. And that subject to me is tricky, because we're not necessarily telling you to quit your job tomorrow.
Right.
You know, that's, if you can't get out of bed, you should quit your job. That's not what we're saying. You know, but you have your job for one reason or another. You know, maybe you thought that it was amazing at one point. Maybe you're really good at what you do, and there's things that you find that you can find happiness in, and it's looking at your life in those ways as well. You know, sometimes you can't quit your job, sometimes you don't want to, but what is it that you have kind of lost sight of that gets you excited? How do you bring that excitement and that passion back to your life that helps you actually get out of bed and be excited about your day?
Right. Yeah, we definitely can't all, you know, have days where we're excited about every single thing that we're going to be doing, but where can you create some excitement so that it can help ease the, you know, mild pain of having to do some of the stuff that you may not want to be doing, right? Can you plan a vacation? Can you call a friend? Can you find, I mean, it's kind of like what you were talking about with that little bit of morning time with your puppy, right? Like, can you just find the beauty in these moments that we tend to take for granted these days, right? Those are the real presents in life anyway, although getting up for Christmas and our birthday, and that's all fun too. Did we cover it all?
I had one more.
Oh, what is it?
That we both love.
What is it?
I work out.
Of course. Oh my gosh, I forgot. It's such a part of who we are.
Right? And it's a part. So Kimi and I actually met a couple of years ago because I wanted to try out this gym.
I can't believe it's only a couple years ago.
Right?
That's so weird. I cannot
like
remember life without you. It's
I know.
So strange.
I know. I don't want to think about that time.
Yeah.
But I loved waking up early, and I loved, you know, working out early, and I was looking for some kind of workout support system that I could, you know, go to group exercise classes and have some kind of structured something, because self-motivating wasn't working for me. And I stumbled upon this gym that Kimi worked at, and she taught the early morning classes, and the group of people that go there to work out in the morning, I feel like this podcast kind of pulls from all of the strengths that these people have. And a lot of the hacks I learned from my friends at the gym. And part of what brought us together is that, like, early morning energy. And it's really weird, because now that I'm a trainer, and Kimi can relate, that, you know, we teach 3 or 4 classes in a row in the mornings, and often the 5 a.m. class, the earliest class, is the most energetic.
No offense to our later morning classes, if you're listening. We love you too.
We do. And the energy is different in every class, but it blows my mind that these people woke up sometime before 5 a.m. to get there on time.
That's because people that wake up at 5 a.m. to work out are weirdos.
It's true. It's true. But there's something about it.
Weird. It's so true. It's so true. I think it takes a commitment too. Like, if you're gonna get up and work out at 5, like, that is premeditated. That's not like, hey, I'm up, I might as well go to the gym. Like, that's premeditated. So there's some conscious effort that's going in there.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, working out there, I just feel like every time when I teach early morning classes, I just want to stand at the door, and everybody that comes in, I just want to be like, you made it here, you win. Like, you win the day already. Like, high five, high five, high five, because it's such a great way to start the day.
Totally.
And I have more energy when I work out in the mornings. I just, there's something too about connecting with people that are also doing that, because it's like hard to get up early and work out. And so there's like a bond that happens, I think. It's sort of like being through something really traumatic together.
You survived!
We survived 5 a.m. boot camp. Yeah, it's true. Work out, that's a good one. I can't believe I left that off my list. That's awesome.
It's like our favorite drug is sweat.
That's right. Yes. Okay, so, well, that was a lot of tips for you guys. Yay. Hopefully that was helpful. And we look forward to bringing you another podcast very soon. And if you can always check us out at hotbetterpop.com, and website coming soon. And we hope to see you also on Facebook and anywhere else that we might pop up in your lives. And if you have definitely reach out to us. Let us know if you have any feedback. And we look. And rate us. Rate us on iTunes. Like, give us, if you're inspired to do so, give us a little love on iTunes, and we'll be ever so grateful. All right, guys.
Thank you so much.
Go to bed.
Super fun.
Stop listening to this. Go to bed so you can get up early.
Sweet dreams. Have a great day, guys.
You've been listening to Hot Better Pop Radio. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode.
For more tips, tools, resources, motivation, and inspiration to create a life you love, visit us at hotbetterpop.com.